Hey, what's up guys, Will here for GSM Arena. We've encountered plenty of Xiaomi phones with Mi 11 in the name, and the latest to come our way is the Mi 11i, also known as the Mi 11X Pro in India. It cuts back on a few features compared to the Mi 11 flagship in order to achieve a lower price, but it's still rather premium. Let's find out all about it in our full review. The Mi 11i brings looks that are quite similar to some of Xiaomi's other recent phones, like the Poco F3. This includes the signature 2-step camera bump and a glossy back of curved Gorilla Glass 5. The back is quite shiny and mirror-like and attracts fingerprints easily. The frame does appear to be made of plastic here, not metal like the more expensive Mi 11 models. Overall, the phone is on the larger side, but the thin edges lend a bit of grip. One thing you do get on the Mi 11i, which the Mi 11 doesn't have, is IP53 rated splash proofing. Nice! The display here is quite different from the Mi 11's. It's a flat 6.67-inch Super AMOLED panel with a 1080p resolution rather than QHD, and Gorilla Glass 5 protection, not Victus. You do still get a fast 120Hz refresh rate though. It's not exactly adaptive between various refresh rates like on the higher end models, but it will still dial down to 60Hz if you stop interacting with the screen or play video content. While it isn't quite as sharp as the Mi 11, the Mi 11i's display is still sharp enough, with a pixel density of 395 ppi. You get those deep blacks typical of an AMOLED, as well as HDR10+ support. And brightness is flagship grade here. We measured around 550 nits maximum with the slider, and a boost up to 940 nits in auto mode when in bright conditions, so using this phone outdoors is no problem. There are plenty of options within color settings to tweak the phone's color reproduction, which is a bit confusing, but it is possible to achieve great color accuracy here. And since the screen is an AMOLED, there's support for an always-on display. It's quite customizable, and it'll show you the time and notifications while the phone sleeps. And when it's time to wake up the phone, you can do so with the side-mounted fingerprint scanner, which doubles as the power button. For audio, the Mi 11i has a stereo speaker setup. It's a hybrid one with one bottom-firing speaker and the other which doubles as the earpiece. The speakers were able to score a very good rating on our loudness charts, and the sound quality is good, with nice sparkly highs. If you're looking for a 3.5mm jack, you're out of luck here, but you can plug in traditional headphones with a dongle or connect wirelessly. And you can opt for either 128 or 256 gigs of storage on board, which isn't expandable here. The interface of the Mi 11i is Xiaomi's MIUI 12 over Android 11. It's basically the same interface we've seen for over a year now, although swiping through those neat super wallpapers doesn't get old. You can split your notification shade into two menus, the notification panel and the control panel for the quick toggle options. The task switcher can also be set to scroll horizontally, as well as vertically. And you can keep apps in an app drawer if you want, or keep them all on the home screen. Plus, since the phone has an IR blaster, you can use it to control your not-so-smart appliances. At the heart of the Mi 11i is a cutting-edge Snapdragon 888 chipset, the same as you'd find in the more expensive flagship Mi 11 models. This provides some very strong performance in benchmarks. The phone sits near the top of the charts, edging out some of the more expensive competitors, including the Mi 11, thanks to its less demanding 1080p display. We did notice some thermal throttling after extensive heavy tasks, resulting in a small dip in performance. But still, this remains one of the most powerful smartphones for the money. The Mi 11i has a 4520 mAh battery, which is just an average size for the class. But even so, it was able to score a competitive endurance rating of 96 hours in our proprietary tests. You get a 33-watt charger in the box, which is a downgrade compared to the more expensive Mi 11 models. It still does a good job though. The Mi 11i is able to charge from 0 to 69% in half an hour and reaches a full charge in 52 minutes. But unlike the Mi 11, you don't get support for wireless charging here. Now onto the cameras. The Mi 11i has a 108-megapixel Nona-cell main cam. It's the same resolution as the Mi 11, but with a smaller sensor. There's also an 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera and a 5-megapixel macro cam. Shots from the main cam come out at 12 megapixels as 9 pixels are combined in one, and they're very good overall. Detail looks decent with a natural looking rendition. Colors are well balanced, and you get excellent contrast, wide dynamic range, and consistently good exposure. Portraits taken with the main cam look great. There's excellent subject detection and separation. The camera even does alright with messy hairstyles. While there's no dedicated zoom lens, 2x digital zoom from the main camera is relatively sharp and detailed. It works better with straight lines than textures though. The ultra-wide camera takes decent 8-megapixel photos with good sharpness and detail for this resolution and sort of cam, and dynamic range is respectable. Colors don't exactly match the main cams though. Close-up shots taken with the 5-megapixel macro camera have good detail and sharpness for this resolution. However, even though there is autofocus here, any sort of movement from the subject or your hands can result in a blurry shot. Moving on to nighttime shooting. In low light, the auto night mode will kick in, and these photos look good, but there is more to be desired here. You get saturated colors, low noise, plenty of sharpening, and an average level of detail. The exposure is darker than we'd like, and the detail gets mushy in the shadows. Without night mode on, you get more natural detail rendition and overall finer detail where there's enough light to illuminate it. Highlights are severely clipped here though, and shadows are quite dark. The ultra-wide camera of the Mi 11i doesn't do well at night, and there's no auto night mode. Regular photos are very underexposed, with narrow dynamic range and little detail. You can toggle on night mode for the ultra-wide, and it makes a dramatic difference. Exposure is much better, and you get color and detail in the shadows. The images are still on the soft side though. Selfies are taken with a 20-megapixel front-facing cam, and you get enough detail, though not what you'd expect at this resolution. But the dynamic range is wide, and the colors are appealing. The Mi 11i can shoot video from the main cam in up to 8K resolution at 30 FPS. It's not bad, but appears over-sharpened, and we're not big fans of the rendition of the fine detail. 4K video from the main camera is nothing short of excellent. There's a lot of detail, with mature processing, and sharpening is balanced here. Colors are likable, and contrast and dynamic range are praiseworthy. You can shoot with the ultra-wide in 1080p, and it's decent for this resolution. There's plenty of detail, though it appears over-sharpened, and you get punchy colors. Dynamic range is noticeably more narrow than the main cams. Stabilization is available on both cameras in up to 4K resolution on the main one. It does an excellent job of smoothing out shake from walking and enabling smooth pans. So that's the Mi 11i, aka Mi 11X Pro. You get a nice looking splash-proof build, an excellent 120Hz AMOLED display, a top-tier chipset, great battery life and pretty fast charging, and very good photo and video quality, at least from the main cam. Overall, the Mi 11i is a great phone, but for a flagship killer, it's not really that cheap. For just a bit more, you can get an actual flagship. Not from the highest tier ones, but still. So it doesn't seem worth it to go for the Mi 11i instead, unless you're really after that little bit of savings. Thanks for watching guys, stay safe and see you on the next one.